everyone, welcome to Shunya One, episode 189. We are really heading towards a lot of numbers now, even though we are in this bi-weekly format. It's great that all of you guys are giving us so much feedback, listening to our show. We've had some really interesting guests over the past few weeks and months, and today's guest is exactly up there in the same lines. Today we're talking to Sanjay Kumar, who's the co-founder of Spyne.ai. While the name sounds interesting, you might think of this is something to do with health tech, but it's actually very, very interesting space of computer vision and AI that they're solving. And they're a SaaS company built in India for the world. They're doing some really interesting stuff in the B2B space of SaaS, which really utilizes computer vision to solve a very, very common problem. I had a very interesting conversation with Sanjay going into how they discovered the product, how they pivoted, how they finally found market fit, and now how they're, I would say, leagues ahead of other solutions in this space. So let's take a quick break and come back and have that conversation. Hi, Sanjay. Welcome to Shunya One. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Shiladitya, and thanks for inviting us for this wonderful podcast.
No, it's great to have you. And of course, like we were talking earlier, I think we don't have too many SaaS companies which I've interviewed on this show. I've over the various number of episodes that we've done. While personally, I'm very keen on, talking to SaaS founders and how they see the overall SaaS space in India. So it's really exciting to have you here. Thank you for doing this. And of course, first of all, let me congratulate you on everything that you're doing at Spyne. You guys have really sort of built a unique sort of SaaS product. And you are also in a space which is obviously very, very hot. Even up until very, very recently, the AI part of that space, whether you call it image manipulation or image-based, productization of the space is really heated up, right? So I think there's a lot we want to talk about, but just to set context for everyone listening in, why don't you start off with a little bit of your personal journey as to, what led to this space through the various stints you've done?
I'll start from the very beginning. I'm a product and engineering professional from the post graduation, which was from IIT Kharagpur in 2005. I was mostly into the startups, right? When the startups was not the vogue, not in vogue as such, right? So
yeah, 2005 is the same time frame I remember. It's there was nothing called startups back then. It was
startups, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as part of big MNC from my college graduation, but didn't like the culture. One of my seniors was doing a startup from MIT Sloan. He established something in Delhi. So I joined, and that's how the journey started in the startup journey. So I've been part of like a scaling up journey for Yatra, OYO fairly late stage, but Yatra, Fashion and You, a number of companies, Amazon also a brief stint. In the last like 11, 12 years of my working experience, I've seen a lot of companies scaling up their various back-end processes, vendor management, catalog management. A lot of these problems I got very hands-on experience on in all those years of working with the e-commerce company. Right? So the idea was always to launch something, right? But few years back, 4-5 years back, seems like all marketplaces ideas were taken away. Right? So what to do? Yeah. So that's when we started with some idea that let's build something in the content space, because content is something that was very close to what I've been like doing for a long time, right? And we started building a content management platform for the creators and photographers in general, right? And we're giving them a tool which was helping them scale up their content distribution and generating business out of it. Obviously, this was pretty niche, and the idea didn't turn out to be like huge for us. Though we launched the product and got the MVP used by a lot of paying photographers in the country, but eventually realized that this is not like a big idea on which I should be spending most of our time, right? And then we figured out, content is a big domain, right? But why target photographers or the creators only for selling SaaS? So the idea was can we do something big in the content space? And one of the problems that I connected was cataloging is a pretty big problem, right? And most of these big companies or small sellers struggle with it. Big companies because they do not have a way to efficiently scale up their cataloging operations, and small companies because those studios and agencies are pretty expensive, right? So they do not have a way to get let's say 10 products online without engaging a
Right.
photographer or the agency, right? So if they engage,
Right.
it will be like they'll charge a bomb which they'll not be able to afford it.
Correct.
So 95% of the sellers are not actually mainstream because they are not able to afford high quality photographer for creating the visuals that convert. And that's where
Correct.
the gap between high end sellers and the low end sellers exist in the industry, right? So
Right.
and in the last few years, there were like two big macro events that happened. And the hardwares in the camera phone, basically, the quality of camera phones in the cameras in the smartphones went up like drastically. Right. So these days,
Right.
you can even get 20-25 megapixel camera in a 10,000 rupees phone, which is like ubiquitous.
Right.
Everyone has that phone,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
every seller has that particular phone. And also, last few years, this entire computer vision has evolved as a field. Pretty much like you get to see a lot of research that were just looking like impossible few quarters back or few
Correct.
years back maybe,
Correct.
right? So combining these two at this particular like last 2-3 years was becoming a feasibility, right? And I worked on one of the solutions in my one of the past instance where we did some early pilots in the computer vision and imaging space,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that gave us the idea that okay, this is the right time in which we can build a cataloging product that can really scale in a mobile phone kind of a platform, right? And
Right.
we started working on this particular platform and launched the first version, choosing a category which worked out pretty well because it was one of its kind of a product when we launched, right? And that basically started the journey. And last we have been doing this for the last like 2.5 to 3 years now. After the pivot, almost 2.5 years, right? So
Right.
first 1.5 years was the first phase of the company, which we pivoted to this, and last 2.5 years is this company, right? And now
Nice.
we have been scaling pretty well the primary industry of automobile, and we are also unlocking few more industries at a fairly like a decent pace now.
Awesome. And you mentioned that the first product, and that is the automobile sector product that you launched with, right? Which is basically taking a image which someone may have shot of a car, which may not have been ideal with the right background or with the right pose, angle and so on and so forth. And then your product sort of runs through it. So what does it exactly do? Can you tell us a little bit about the tech behind the scenes?
Exactly. So I'll tell you the core problem area which is there in the market right now, in the industry right now. Right? Let's say you see any large marketplace in the industry or any large dealership in the industry. So the marketplaces will generally ask their users to upload their car images, right? And if you ask 100 different people to upload their car images or upload their product images, all of them will have their own way to shoot the cars.
Right.
So someone will start shoot from the front angle. Someone will just tilt the phone and shoot it like in a random way. Someone will just place the car in a very crowded environment with like some bad surroundings everywhere, right? So
Right.
the marketplace's catalog doesn't look consistent, right? Not inviting enough for users to purchase that particular car. You can see an Audi clicked in a way where you will not even want to open that particular image, right? And that car's cost is about like 25 lakh rupee on the listing price. And so those are the problems. So the fundamental problem that we wanted to address was, can we make that end user behave like a photographer, right? And hundreds of users behave similarly like a photographer for that particular company, right? So let's say there's a large marketplace which has given us a guideline. We need to capture 8 angles of that particular car, right? So we have we built a camera experience that will drive a user like you and me to click all those 8 angles in the same fashion. No matter who's shooting it, everyone will be shooting the same angle. It will auto detect lighting, it will auto detect cropping, it will auto detect angles, the bad angles, good angles, auto detect the tires, the leaves on the tires, right? So multiple things, reflections on the body, multiple validations will be built, are built around the car so that we get that particular car shot done like a professional photographer, right? And then after all the shots are taken, we basically process them into a very neat looking backdrop, right? And those images are again published on the marketplaces. So now we basically have scaled tens of thousands of users do their photo shoots themselves like a high quality photographer, and the marketplaces also are getting very consistent quality output, right? So win-win for both, and the CTRs are also have improved. So this product basically worked well in the market, and we got a lot of companies signed up for this particular product. And internationally also, we are expanding pretty fast right now. US, Europe, Middle East,
Nice.
South America, multiple geographies we are expanding now with this product.
So who your primary user, the person who's using, let's say this, and this is an app, right? This is it's a mobile product which is used on the phones of the people taking these pictures. That's the product that you've designed, developed, and you set up. But who is your ultimate consumer? I mean, who it's the marketplace enforces how to give the output, but the vendor is the person actually using it. So who's the actual customer that you're catering?
Exactly. So fundamentally, we are building an ecosystem through which we behave like a backend solution for these marketplaces, right? So we do our camera SDK integration with large marketplaces. So we become the default photo shoot application for them. Anytime a photo has to be added on that marketplace, by default it will open up our camera app, right? And that camera app will guide the user, whoever is shooting it. It could be the dealerships, it could be the end user, it could be their agents only, but everyone will be using the same customer app, and within that app, adding photos default opens up Spyne app experience, right? So that everything is like streamlined.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, so that means, so as you scale, like you said, you're even working with international marketplaces. That means, by and large, there are some nuances to each region, each kind of marketplace, depending on what they are selling. Some are selling cars, some are selling everything, some are selling, various other things. So, is this a evolving sort of a product that you fine tune with each new tie-up that you do?
Yeah, exactly. So we right now are at a stage where the second best solution is nowhere even close to the quality that we are at right now, right? Because every marketplace is I mean, we are evolving with every new kind of image that we are getting. So it is all deep AI, which is getting intelligent with every single iteration. So iteration from the sets of images that we get from variety of clients, right? So that way the expansion and the quality enhancement is pretty diverse and deep. So, but the end product fundamentally remains the same, right? It is about getting the end user shoot like a photographer and then editing that particular photo and publishing it, right? So no matter the company is based in India or in Europe or in US or in Brazil, any place. So we everywhere we do the same SDK or the API integration, right? And the end user is guided on how to do that perfect shoot. We basically customize each of these companies for the background that they want, for the 9 kind of angles that they want, and some of the configurations we tweak for each of these companies, because all of these are like large enterprise integrations.
Of course. You mentioned that you are obviously way ahead because you focused on this solution and you're way ahead than the next product in the market. Can you tell us about this category overall? Like, is it what has led to, let's say, you guys obviously being at the right place, right time, maybe in the market, like you said, with the camera hardware reaching a good level and AI reaching a good level. But this has probably been a need for marketplaces, at least for a while, right? Can you tell us about the overall space? Like, is this something which is ripe for disruption even more, or are you guys so way ahead that it's all in?
Yeah. I mean, there'll always be a chance of like competition in the space, but the product building, it is not a simple application, right? Where you just see some experience working and you just copy paste the code and then get something out of the ground. So there's a lot of learning needed related to problem discovery. Let's say you want to solve car cataloging, so there could be like 50-60 problems that you need to solve for within that car image transformation as well as like clicking. Similarly, when you get into like other category, there are again different set of problems, some common, some unique to that particular category that you need to attack. Right? So this problem discovery plus the iterative nature of the training, multiple rounds of training, and reiterating, right? So this has been a 2 years long process for us, after which we came to this particular stage, right? So not an easy thing to just replicate. Whoever will come, there'll be like companies which will obviously come for like building something similar, but quality will be one of the key things on which the customers will be judging the companies or the service providers on, right? And that will be a thing that will take patience, time to get right eventually.
Sanjay, on that note, there's a lot more I want to ask you, especially about the Spyne.ai part of this, because that's also something super interesting. But let's take a quick break and come back and continue the conversation. Hey, welcome back in conversation with Sanjay about all the interesting things that you're building at Spyne.ai. And like I said before we took the break, I really want to understand this .ai part of the platform as well. You mentioned already that everything that you're building obviously is learning from every new integration that you do, the number of images people put in. So it's evolving sort of a system. In this space of computer vision, I think AI has really sort of caught up, and we keep hearing things about even not just image modification but even image generation. AI has now become super popular, right, with so many platforms available. So what is your take on where you want to take your product next? I mean, what are the next sort of challenges that you're solving, and using the power of AI, how will you step jump a few of those? Have you, if you're thinking about the way forward?
Right. Right. So one of the fundamental problems that we are looking to solve in this industry is how to generate a real perfect personalized image for that particular seller, right? So the product that you are looking to sell, you want to present that product in the best possible manner, right? You don't want to showcase the stock photos or the AI generated photos, right? So
Right.
uh, and photos have different properties, right? How you shoot it and how you clean it has a huge impact versus in the way that that product will be displayed to the user, right?
Correct.
So fundamentally, we are solving these two side of the problems where we make the user behave like a photographer, and then we make the user make the system be like edit like a very high-end professional editor
Yeah.
for that particular
Yeah.
photo, right? So these two are the core problems that we are attacking right now. Of course, like the way the AI is evolving, there are like so many distractions because so much of research is happening all across, right? So
Right.
many new possibilities are emerging in the images in general visual content space. So you want to do everything, but the focus has to be on certain thing if you want to like really scale it up to the big league. Right. So that's where we are just focused on solving this image as a problem entirely across the globe right now. And the two big ticket industries, or you can say the content forms where we want to get into in future is of course this entire 3D and metaverse is one of the domains that we have also ventured into a bit in terms of R&D, right? So we are able to generate some of the 3D models which are pretty unique in the way it'll when we launch it will be like pretty unique product in the industry,
Right.
right? So that way one of the like key new things that we'll be venturing into probably sometime in the future, not right away, will be the 3D metaverse offering some product flavors that will give the real more immersive experience to the users. So
Interesting.
and those all are the things that are possible because of the new things that have emerged in the research space in the computer vision overall.
This is driven by the fact that the marketplaces are venturing into these spaces. So you obviously you're having to, let's say, work with them to build out these new experiences. Is it?
Exactly. Right. So one of the key decision factors for us, why not 3D now, why later on, was that primarily market is images. 90-95% of the catalog on regular marketplaces, large, big, small, everywhere, is images right now. In the last 1 to 2 years, the video cataloging has picked up, but not yet commercially. Right? So TikTok and TikTok commerce and all have started this trend of presenting a product with a video, right? Which will possibly be a new trend that will emerge in the next few years,
Right.
right? So and then possibly video 3D, both of these things will emerge simultaneously or one after the other, because you need a cataloging experience that is more involved, that is more like personalized for you, right? So obviously these will be the obvious directions where we will head to as we grow into the future. But right now the entire focus is to solve the majority, like the big market problem, which is images for us right now. And also there is a lot of scope because the categories are pretty. I mean, we have solved auto, so now we want to get into like few other categories as well, right? So there's a lot many things to do as we progress in future from here on.
Yeah. In fact, since you mentioned TikTok, right, the let's say the B2C side of things, while you are obviously a B2B focused sort of SaaS product, I think even on that side, there have been quite a few things happening on the camera space, right? Because whether it's the Snapchat filters or augmented reality kind of stuff. I think that space has made users generally aware of all the cool tricks and things you can do on a camera and smartphone nowadays. Does that also sort of drive some amount of innovation or influence your sort of roadmap in some ways, because now people expect what they use on their day-to-day life or in the camera apps of these other products that they probably use themselves, they expect that high quality of gimmickry, if you want to call it, even in, let's say, professional photography.
I mean, yes and no. So yes, because of course there's a need, not really like a paying need for that kind of a solution, but users just want to try them out for the fun sake, right? So we are a hardwired enterprise
Right.
company, right? It's B2B company. So we want to retain our DNA like that everything we do should be commercialized, right? So this is how also revenue first thinking is very much inbuilt in the company that we are building here, right? So deep SaaS, deep tech SaaS, targeting large enterprises, and from the once we crack those large enterprises, we'll go like funnel down to the mid ones, then smaller ones, and then spread out when the need will arise. But the focus is entirely to crack the large enterprises, big businesses. So this is the key focus right now.
No, that's amazing. And again, since you brought up the point about SaaS, right? I think India in general has seen a SaaS revolution of sorts over the years. How much of your focus for expansion and growth is, let's say, India domestic sort of marketplaces and vendors, or is it, you mentioned you have customers across the globe. What's the direction you're going, and how does your next, let's say, 12, 18 months sort of look like?
Right. I mean, if I talk about next 12 months, it will be like 80-90% will be like a US first company. Right. So that's how we have been building the entire like GTM engine around that as well. So attending a lot of events, so getting with that event calendar, which is pretty expansive in the US. So a lot of dealerships events happen there, where big prospects, mid-tier prospects attend those events, right? So and yeah, so setting the entire GTM motion, the teams, everyone is geared towards making the US happen in a big way, right? And we're working towards that. So US, Europe, these would be the primary markets. Although India, we have been working with all the known names that you might be knowing. In various phases of our integration, we are already there. But primarily, we see US as a big market where we should be there. We should be like targeting, because there are almost 60 to 80,000 dealerships there in the US at various sizes, right? And
this is only for the automobile sort of a product that you're.
Automobile, yeah. Next to 6 to 9 months, it is only automobile. It's like a big market enough for us to capture.
Wow. And then there's the whole world of fashion e-commerce, and I mean, I was seeing, reading even reading about food images as well. I think a lot of these restaurants,
e-commerce, food, real estate.
Correct. So what's your take on that? Like, are you still researching those? Are you experimenting on the side? What's the product building roadmap for you also while all this happens?
We already have, if not the best product available in those categories, but one of the top performing products already functioning in the food and e-commerce domain. So behind the scenes, we have certain clients which are already using our product, pretty good names which are already using our product in the e-commerce and food, these two verticals, at least right now. Right. So, of course, as a company which is in a fairly early stage, you need to keep a strong focus on certain key areas, right? So, in the next 6 to 8 months, the goal is to just start the entry process into 2 new categories and just build maybe kind of the leadership role or the position in the automotive domain, as well, like solving a lot of more use cases, building more immersive experiences around it. Once we do that, so we'll know how to replicate like one category is learning to other categories, and it is all like something that we have already done. So after we launched automobile, it took us hardly like a quarter to launch a new category for us, which is almost at the level of not at the level of automobile, but maybe 90 to 95% of where the automobile is right now for us. So we'll, of course, the future roadmap would be to expand to more categories, and that we'll be doing after a while.
So, Sanjay, on as far as closing notes go, I think you've mentioned the direction, the GTM direction, the product direction. You guys have obviously I believe you've completed your, pre-series A round recently. So, and then you've also made an acquisition in a sort of similar space. What is your team like? What kind of team are you building? And if you want to, like, do a shout out to how people who are listening to this episode can maybe talk to you, reach out to you, whether they're interested in the product or even joining your team.
Yeah. So we are looking to build one of the best R&D teams in the country in the AI space. AI is fairly broader. So in the computer vision space, one of the best known companies to be coming out of India. So this is like the aspiration that we have for us right now. So the leadership team, so the entire company is around about like 100 people right now overall, and we have split the entire company into functional teams, and we have like product team, tech team, data annotations, business, client success, marketing, ABM. So multiple teams were created, and all of these teams are headed by some of the seasoned leaders from like various places that have like joined to build this vision into the future. It's so pretty strong team, and we are well. We can say we are well placed to crack some of the milestones that we have already decided for the year. And yeah, always looking for like people who are really excited about this particular space. The space like visual cataloging or in general visuals solved through like deep tech AI, right? So uh, anyone who is interested in exploring the space in the product AI. So we are right now looking for someone to head our computer vision as a function entirely. Though we have a very strong team of like junior to mid-level members in the team, but looking to also add one of the senior leaders in this particular space right now. Yeah, and always open for like meeting new people who can bring exciting and cool ideas and bring some stability into the company as well.
No, that's awesome. Sanjay, I mean, thank you for that. Of course, for everyone listening, please, obviously, wherever you're listening to this, please do leave us a rating and a review. I think that also helps. And like Sanjay said, if you want to reach out to him, Sanjay, what's the best place to reach you? Do you want to mention your Twitter handle or a LinkedIn is where the best
Yeah,
place
yeah.
to reach you?
I think
Please let
both
us
are
know.
the good places. So I just mentioned share my LinkedIn handle. Let me also share my Twitter.
We'll put it in the details behind this podcast. So anyone else, anyone who's interested in talking to you, will definitely reach out. Sanjay, thank you so much for sharing the story with us. Congratulations once again on everything you're building at Spyne. We will look forward to seeing all the cool innovations, albeit behind the scenes. But I think as marketplaces evolve, I think the images on there will definitely keep getting cooler and cooler. So we'll know there's tech like yours behind working to make that happen. Thank you so
And
much.
thanks a lot, Shiv, for inviting us as well. And wonderful speaking with you. Yeah.